The right fit for Alltite. We spend a lot of time when we're interviewing talking about the business fit for a candidate. And we look at things like teamwork, entrepreneurial spirit, communication skills, and we say the right fit. Oh, we laugh. Sometimes we might talk about playing nice in the sandbox. It always, foremost, is someone who's competent, because I think to fit into Alltite, we're playing hard and we're working hard.
Teamwork, I truly feel, is where the environment is very positive, to where regardless of title, regardless of duty, everyone's treated the same, and we have the ability to feed off each other and what our individual strengths are.
Tom and I realized we have to hire people smarter than us or we wouldn't get anywhere. We can't do everything ourselves, so we depend on everybody, on our entire team and our staff to help out with that.
Well, what it is, it's having pride and a sense of ownership in your position, and having talented people who are around that are not just there for their, to punch the time clock and to get a paycheck, but truly care and take a sense of ownership in what they're doing. It just lifts me up completely to see all that happening.
The evolution has not only been in the growth of the company probably, but how we're taking a step back to look at the processes and procedures we want to put in place. And it was so neat to take time to actually articulate our values and what we wanted to communicate to employees as we continue to grow, so that we were all on the same page and knew what was important to the owners.
We started out of our house and the dining room and my little den, and before my son was born, Tom was in like a 6x8 bedroom with a desk in there, and we were making phone calls and heading out, and had leaky, broken trucks and things that didn't work, but didn't even have a storage facility at the time. It was my garage, but it flooded out all the time and our tools got rusty, and it kind of started from there, from my house to, I remember our first office. I remember Tom saying, well, I found this new office, we gotta look over there, and the first thing I said was, how much was it?
It was $1,100 a month.
$1,100 a month, and I thought, oh my God, how in the world are we ever gonna pay for that? $1,100 a month.
Oh man, that's a lot of tools we have to sell just to cover rent.
Just rent. And then there was bills on top of that.
I think there have been some really key values that we've identified, and I think the respect is so important, and the owners show it every day. There's been a lot of discussion about how respect is how we're going to treat each other and our customers on a day-to-day basis with high integrity, and then we're going to stay very candid and honest and direct in our responses as well as our attitude. And that's a tough balance, but that's been our goal.
You teach by doing. You're only a true professional when you can teach what you've learned to others, and I can't continue my own personal growth or continue the growth of different individuals or employees in the organization without coming back and getting my hands dirty, without trying to share what knowledge I have.
In the state of Kansas, you can drive when you're 14 with your parents. So I got a learner's permit, and during the summers, when my dad would come back, I would take off for like 2 weeks at a time with my dad, and I get to drive that big old Suburban. I remember this one time driving out to, we were on our way to Dumas, Texas, and our father was going to go do a demonstration. Well, he asked the guy, hey, my son's in the car, would you mind if he came in? But I watched him crawl into the crankcase of a GMW engine to break the articulating rods loose and show this customer a better way to do it. And at the time, I didn't realize what he was actually doing, but he was fixing a very big problem for this customer and a time-saving deal when this engine was shut down. And they ended up buying some equipment and whatnot. And I thought, wow, this has got to be the easiest job in the whole world. But just watching him at work, and I just stood there kind of in awe, it was a really cool opportunity to watch my father at his best.
Just today, I got a call from a customer who had been offered a solution for this low-profile application at a refinery in Louisiana. They had quoted and sold an open-ended spanner with the roller wheels, like an AB cartridge, and it had separated, and they had spent, I think, $12,000 on the entire setup. And they called us up, and I said, well, how many foot-pounds are you going to? And they said 350 foot-pounds. I said, well, why don't you just do it with an open-ended manual wrench, 600-pound clicker wrench? And he said, gosh, I never thought about doing it that way. It would be a lot easier to do that. And I said, a lot less expensive too.
$500, yeah.
Well, I didn't get as big of a sale as I could have if I would have gone chasing down this road to sell a hydraulic wrench for that application. But I gained the trust of a customer for life.
Between when we started and now, we've kind of moved our customer base right up to the front of everything that we do. Our customers are number one, and then everyone in our company is underneath, all looking up at the customer about what we can do to make something, to differentiate ourselves, to bring the customer up front instead of just being a vendor, being a service provider for somebody, being a partner and a friend to their business.
It seems like every day anymore I get really inspired by an idea that somebody comes up with for the company or for a business, and it's really easy to get me excited and get me really enthusiastic about getting behind an idea when somebody comes up with something great.
I think we've grown at a rapid pace because of our innovation. Because of the way that our business is set up, it's helped us to really accelerate in the industry. It's evolved on every level, from becoming a big business into being an industry leader.